This week's edition of Sunday Sit Down brought to you by Cutshaw Chevrolet in Grapeland.
I'm born and raised in Houston County. Crockett. I went to Crockett schools up to 5th grade. Then my father was promoted at the TDC unit in Lovelady. At the end of my 5th grade year, or starting my 5th grade year, we moved down to Lovelady, and I started going to Lovelady School. That's where I graduated. When I graduated high school, I started Angelina College for a criminal justice degree while working for TDC. And then in late 2004, I started the police academy. And then it was a night academy. We went for like roughly 9 months. And then in 2005, we graduated the police academy, and I went to work for Crockett Police Department. So I worked for Crockett Police Department for about 3 years, and then I moved to the district attorney's office at the time as the investigator there. I worked there for a short time, and then I went to the Houston County Sheriff's Office as a sheriff's deputy. I worked under Sheriff Darrell Bobbitt for a little over 5 years, and then I was asked about a position back at the Crockett Police Department, at which time I moved back to the Crockett Police Department. And I worked there under Chief Cross I started back in 2013, and then I was there as the administrative lieutenant. And when Chief Cross retired, I was promoted to interim chief of police. I was in that position for about 3 months, maybe 4, and then I was appointed chief of police for the Crockett Police Department. And that was I'm going to say that was late 2018, 2019, when I was promoted to chief, or put in that position, and I've been there ever since. So,
Well, as our local police chief, you've talked before about some of the issues and things our community faces. And I recently heard you talk about even telephone scams going on. What are some of the challenges y'all see at the police department, and what are y'all doing to?
So a lot of times, when that question's asked, a lot of people want to focus on the issues or the crimes that we have. And, the truth is, I think those issues stem from deeper problems that maybe the general public may not realize or understand, or even some of us in law enforcement may not understand. And I really think that one of the biggest issues we see in our area is really lack of services for mental health patients, and not necessarily the care that they get, but the services that are made available to them. And I actually met with some people from the state just a few weeks ago about that, and expressed my concerns about that, because it's mental health is a real problem, and people that suffer from that, it's really an issue for them. And so I think that's one of our biggest issues. And probably following closely second behind that is juveniles. Our kids in the community, they really don't have a lot to do outside of school or sporting events, athletics. They don't have a lot of stuff to keep their time occupied. And just as anybody else, when we're bored, we're going to find something to do. And I would like to see in the future more things for the kids, more services for the kids to help them with that. We see at times we have parents that are still very young themselves. They're still kids essentially, and they haven't been able to explore the whole life process and become, yes, young adults or young, parents, what have you. So I think that's another part of services that we don't have a lot of to help those young parents on parenting or services that they may need with their kids. So those are probably two of the biggest areas and most important areas in my opinion. I mean, just like any other community, whether you want to compare it to Houston, Dallas, the larger cities, we have our fair share of crime, just like everybody else. But it's not. I feel like a lot of that stems from other issues that come from some of the other things that I've talked about.
Well, I've heard you talk a lot about you have kind of an open door policy with the public. How can we, the public, help you guys and police force, local law enforcement?
So you're right. When I became chief, one of my main thought process for the community was to have an open door policy for the community to know that they can come and talk to their chief. They can express concerns. There are times that work is busy and I may or may not be in, so I like to consider myself a working chief. I get out and work with our officers and patrol and do things that some chiefs and other agencies don't do. So there's times that I'm not there, but my door is always open, and I have found it, and I've really found it to be real successful with, some people may not understand what we do and why we do it, but if I take the time to sit down with them and explain the process, the laws that we're governed by, and why we do the things that we do, a lot of people understand better, and I think that helps them understand our job. And that's one of the biggest things that I tell people. The job is not real easy at times, especially for the patrol officers with a young family and the things that they deal with and the things that they see. And that's one thing I tell the public, the general public, is understand what the officers are going through. Though you may not have been through it or experienced it, there's a lot to it. And probably one of the key things for the general public to know is it's hard to do our job without the public's help. If you are out on the street and you see something that is not right, it really helps us when you call and say, hey, I just saw this, or this is going on, I don't know, you guys might want to check this out. Our city is almost 7,000 population-wise, so we run 2 officers on the street per shift. So when you have one officer on one side of town and the other on the other side, there's a lot of uncovered areas. And those are things that we're working on changing, and increase our staff and our coverage. So I guess generally just answering that question is maintaining a good relationship with their police department and providing them with information that can help us do our job. We can't do it alone.
Well, Chief, the questions today aren't just about law enforcement. As we can see from that banner behind you, you're also very involved in our Houston County Fair.
I am.
Which is coming up very soon. So what can we expect this year?
So, as you said, I'm president of the Houston County Fair and Youth Livestock Association. Our fair is coming up the last week of this month. It'll start March 25th with our open horse show, Josh Ward concert following that night. And then later on in the week when we'll start checking in fair projects and animals and such. And then we'll close out that following Saturday with our sale, our buyer's dinner, and a buyer's concert. As we kind of put that together, one thing that we started doing, like when I became involved, one of the first things I talked to everybody about is, hey, we're volunteers. We're volunteering our time for the kids to make it better for them. That's something that we have to take responsibility for and accept. And, for 1 week each month, for one night each month, and then a week out of the year, we're going to be tied up. Our time is going to be taken. And I feel like that's something that being involved in that's the least we can do for the kids. it gives them something to look forward to and to be involved in.
Well, I know y'all have grown the fair year on year, and a few changes this week. The sale's going to be on Saturday, a big show at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about the changes and improvements y'all have been working on.
So, when I became president, I did have an idea of things that I would like to see done. Really and truly, it centers around making the fair better for the kids. I remember when I was in school, we always look forward to the fair week. We get to hang out with our friends, we get to skip school, and it was always a fun time. And so that's something that we're really focusing on with the group of the fair board members now, is making the fair about the kids, about them learning something and taking something back with them that they'll never forget. So that's one reason we started with the concert. For instance, the Josh Ward concert on the 25th. All of our exhibitors that have entered the fair, they get in free. That's kind of their night. That's about them. The money that we raise from that, whether it's been from sponsors or ticket sales, whatever, that money goes directly back to them for, either we're getting them new equipment or scholarships, or just trying to make things better for them, so that they'll always remember that, and in hopes that they'll learn something from it and carry on with them as young adults.
Well, would you say that's basically what this fair is all about, is helping these kids do something meaningful and useful and take the lessons on with them?
Absolutely. The fair is 100% about the kids, and it's about learning responsibility and learning things that they can carry on with them as they grow in life, as they become young adults, something that, and not just responsibilities, but memories that they make and can carry on with them for years. So the entire week is essentially about the kids, and we're blessed in this county with people that don't mind opening up to help the kids. Our sponsors are amazing, and even the sponsors that give money or donation, whatever it may be, that all goes to the kids. So essentially they're getting that help and that guidance from all corners.
Well, last question, Chief. As a Houston County native and our Crockett Police Chief, there's a lack of law enforcement all over the country. I would imagine someone like yourself could go live and work just about anywhere. So I guess my question would be, what do you like about living here and working here and this community? What's your favorite thing?
So I'm not a city boy. I go to the city. I enjoy some time there, but after a little bit, I'm ready to get out and come back to the country. I think we've got a really strong knit community. I think over the last few years, our community has started to grow more together than being apart. You watch stories on the news and see stories all over the country that communities are fighting with each other. We don't have those issues here. Now, I understand that people may disagree with each other, or we may not agree on everything. But at the end of the day, I think we can come together and come up with a solution to fix whatever issues we're having. And you don't see that in larger cities or larger communities. And in a smaller community, just about everybody. I really thought that was going to be a difficult part of my job because I was from here, dealing with people. But you learn how to navigate through that. And most people understand that when you're in a position like I'm in, you have a job to do at the end of the day. And it's all about treating people with respect and fairness, and you can really navigate through that pretty easily. So I love our community, the city of Crockett and the rural areas of the county. I've made a lot of friends here. A lot of my family's here, so this is home. No matter if I were to ever leave, I would be back here one day. So.